Shalom, and thank you for joining us today for Jesus is Black, Episode 2, Ancient Civilizations, the Canaanites. My name is Areliyah Ben Israel, and I'll be your host today. In our last episode, Episode 1, Ancient Civilizations, we went over the Mesopotamian or Indus Valley civilizations, the sons of Ham, namely the son of Nimrod, the first king of Mesopotamia after the flood. In this episode, we'll be going into the Canaanites, the son of Ham, Canaan, and his descendants, all the Canaanite nations that descended from Canaan, and that would be in present-day Asia Minor. And we're just going to go over and set the basis of our argument to prove the fact that not only were all ancient civilizations in the Bible black, but the Hebrews themselves were a black nation. So to further prove our argument, we wanted to go to the beginning, and build a case for this. Okay, so let's get started. So, the first thing I like to get into is the nations that came out of Canaan, okay? According to the table of nations in Genesis 10, Canaan was the ancestor of the tribes who originally occupied the land of Canaan, all of the territories from Sidon to Hamath, and the north of Gaza, in the southwest, Lasha in the southeast. This territory is roughly the areas of modern-day Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, western Jordan, and western Syria. Canaan's firstborn son, Sidon, who shares his name with the Phoenician city of Sidon, is present-day Lebanon. His second son, Heth. Canaan's descendants, according to the Hebrew Bible, include the Sidonians, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Arkites, the Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. According to the tradition, Ethiopian historians, Canaan's son Arad and his wife Entella crossed from Asia into Ethiopia, and they populated parts of Cush. Now, that territory was part of the Cushite kingdom. Modern-day Ethiopia was originally the Cushite kingdom, which was the descendants of the son of Ham, Cush, okay, which would be the present-day Ethiopians, okay? So, what we want to do is we want to prove that these were all black nations, because the consensus amongst most biblical scholars, even though I reject, I would say 85% of the things that they teach, is that Ham was the father of the African nations, which is basically true, but they leave out the fact that all the other nations at that same time were black. They like to lump all black people in one category as African, but black people descend from all different places in that region, not just Africa. Okay, so if Ham was the father of the African or the dark races, according to modern day biblical scholars, then these people that populated the Asia Minor region, they were all black people. These nations were all black nations, okay? You have the Phoenicians, the Sidonians, Tyrus, the Hivites, the Hittites, the Jebusites. These were powerful. Even the Philistines. These were powerful nations among the earth, okay? These were major players in ancient times, okay? Civilized nation with big mass kingdoms with big walls all around them, Jericho, and the list could go on and on and on, okay? So what we want to do is, you know, I can ramble on and on for days about the different specifics, you know, that pertain to this topic. But the best thing that I could do is, you know, I can show you artifacts that are basically, you know, prove what I'm saying. I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of literature out there that you can dig through, and you can get the answers. You can come to the same conclusions. And there's also, at the same time, this literature is slowly being phased out. They're not printing them anymore, and when they do print these different books, they price them out of our price range so that only the elite can afford to obtain this information. We have to, you know, set record of this information now before it becomes unavailable to us permanently. Okay, so that's why I made this channel. That's why I'm making these videos, because they are spending billions of dollars to hide these things from us. They are, you know, frantically trying to keep their lies going, you know, because with the internet and social media and things, we have you know, we have a range. We can reach out to far places and get information that we didn't have access to years ago. And that all that access to all that information is destroying their lives. It's crumbling, you know, the propaganda wall that they built around us. Okay? They say America is the home of the free, and freedom of speech, but trust me, there are things out there that they keep from us. They will not allow us to, you know, to come in contact with information. They rewritten certain parts of history, or they just don't teach it at all, or they teach it from a Eurocentric point of view. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the artifacts. I'm gonna show you that, and then we're gonna come back, and then I'm gonna finish my commentary. Welcome back. We just took a look at, some ancient artifacts from the Canaanite empires, and all I could say is, wow. You know, they teach that the Vikings and, the ancient Greeks and the Romans were the first maritime powers, but if you look in the Bible, it says that the Tyrus and Sidonians, they were the first maritime powers. And then if you look on the map where they're located right on the coast of the Black Sea, so, I mean, you do the math. I mean, it even says in, 2 Kings, that King Solomon had a mass fleet of ships. So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot going on as far as when it comes to education and how we've been educated. We've been miseducated, and it's sad because, everyone wants to know the truth. I mean, people don't want to continue to recite lies of an oppressive culture, just to simply hide the accomplishments of certain people, just to put themselves on a pedestal. Everyone has their own culture, their own history. Everybody has a right to their culture and history because their culture and history is just part of who they are. So to take that from them, that's a seriously cruel thing to do. I mean, we as a people, we need to bear witness to the truth. It's the truth that sets your mind free from, all the lies and manipulation and, propaganda and brainwashing and programming. The years upon years upon years of brainwashing and programming through our television, through our education systems, through our church systems. It's everywhere. Okay? And it's got to end. It ends with us. I mean, we have to, open up our eyes. Christ said, it's the blind leading the blind. We have to open our eyes. And once our eyes are open, we have to share this information. And we have to teach it to our children. We have to teach them who they are and where they came from. And what their culture is. We have to teach them, as so-called African Americans, we have to teach them that our history predates the civil rights era. It predates slavery. It predates West Africa. Okay? We need to really, take ownership of this. Okay? We need to take ownership and we need to champion this thing and get this information out. Okay? And anyone that needs information, have any questions, need references as far as, where I get the information from, books or, where the images come from, feel free to ask because, I want this word to get out. I want this truth to get out, okay? Our children deserve to know the truth. Okay, so I'd like to thank you for joining us, and I also want you to join us on our next episode where we'll be examining Ham's son Mizraim, Northeast Africa, the Egyptians, the Nubians, the Libyans, and we're going to take a detailed look at them as well, and we're going to come up with an idea of what their racial background was and what type of people these were. Okay? And with that, I'm signing out and I say shalom and thank you for joining us.